In the open-plan office of Technova Solutions on the edge of the city, the sales team had a reputation for elaborate pranks. Nothing malicious, at least, that's what they told themselves, but always with a sharp edge meant to keep things fun. Mark Thompson, the quiet 38-year-old account manager who sat in the corner cubicle, was their favorite target. He was polite, competent, never complained, and rarely joined the after-work drinks. To them, that made him mysterious, and therefore prankable. It started innocently enough. Brad, the loudest of the group, had been scrolling through a local community board when he spotted a post from a woman named Elena Ruiz. She was new in town, deaf since birth, fluent in American Sign Language, ASL, and looking to meet people casually, no pressure, just coffee and conversation. Brad showed the post to the team during lunch. Perfect, he grinned. Mark's been single forever. Let's set him up on a blind date. Tell him it's a friend of a friend who's super nice but shy. He'll show up, realize she can't hear, fumble around trying to talk, and we'll all die laughing from the next table over. The others hesitated for half a second. Sarah, the HR rep, wrinkled her nose, but the group momentum carried them forward. They created a fake profile on a dating app Mark rarely used, matched him with Elena, with her unwitting consent through a quick message saying it was a casual meetup arranged by mutual friends, and booked a table at the cozy cafe across the street from the office. They even reserved the booth behind a half wall so they could watch without being obvious. Hidden phone cameras were set up. It was all in good fun, they repeated. Mark, oblivious, agreed when Brad casually mentioned the setup. She's great, man. Just a little quiet. You'll like her. Mark nodded, grateful for any social nudge. He hadn't dated seriously since his wife, Lisa, passed away 5 years earlier from a sudden illness. The grief had quieted him, turned him inward. He still wore his wedding band on a chain under his shirt, a silent reminder. The meeting. Friday afternoon arrived. Mark walked into the cafe at 4:30 p.m., dressed in his usual button-down and slacks, carrying a small bouquet of sunflowers. He remembered Lisa always said they were the happiest flower. Elena was already there, at the corner table, wearing a soft green sweater, her dark hair pulled back. She looked up, smiled warmly, and waved. Mark sat down, heart thumping a little. Hi, I'm Mark. You must be Elena. She nodded, then lifted her hands and began signing slowly, clearly, *hello, Mark. Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming, *. He froze for one heartbeat. Then, without thinking, his own hands rose. *hello, Elena. It's really nice to meet you too. These are for you, *. He handed her the flowers. Elena's eyes widened. She signed back quickly, excitement sparkling. You know ASL? Fluently, *. Mark smiled, the first real, unguarded smile the office spies had ever seen from him. Yes. I learned years ago. It's been a while since I used it every day, but it's still there, *. From the booth behind the partition, the sales team stared in stunned silence. Brad's phone slipped from his hand. Sarah covered her mouth. The revelation. Elena leaned forward. *, why did you learn? Most hearing people don't bother unless they have to, *. Mark hesitated, then signed steadily. My wife. Lisa. She lost her hearing gradually after a car accident when she was 28. Meningitis complication. We had 2 years together after that. I learned ASL so we could talk without her straining to read lips or use her residual hearing. We talked all night sometimes. She taught me poetry in signs. The way her hands moved when she described the stars. I'll never forget it, *. He paused, eyes glistening. *, she passed away 5 years ago. Cancer. Fast. I haven't signed much since. It hurt too much. But seeing your post, it felt like something pulled me here, asterisk. Elena reached across the table and touched his arm gently. Her own eyes filled. Asterisk, I'm so sorry. But thank you for telling me. And thank you for signing with me like I'm just, me. Not the deaf girl. Asterisk. They talked, or rather, signed, for over an hour. About books, she loved poetry too, about the city, she'd moved for a graphic design job, about small joys and big losses. Mark laughed, actually laughed, when she teased him about his awkward first date flowers. The conversation flowed effortlessly, hands dancing in the air between them. Behind the wall, the prank team was unraveling. Brad whispered hoarsely, we thought he'd panic. We thought it'd be funny. Sarah was crying quietly. We didn't know. We didn't even ask why he was so quiet. We just assumed he was boring. One by one, they realized the depth of what they'd almost mocked. Mark wasn't socially awkward, he was grieving. He wasn't standoffish, he was protecting a wound that never fully healed. And they had tried to turn his vulnerability into entertainment. The aftermath. Eventually, Elena glanced at her watch. Asterisk, I should go soon. But this was wonderful. Can we do it again, asterisk? Mark signed back, asterisk, I'd like that. A lot, asterisk. As they stood to leave, Elena hugged him briefly. Mark walked her to the door, then turned back toward the office. The sales team didn't hide. They stepped out, faces pale. Brad spoke first, voice cracking. Mark, we set this up. As a joke. We thought it would be awkward for you. We were idiots. We're so sorry. Mark looked at them, then at the cafe, then back. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then he signed slowly, so they could see even if they didn't understand every word, asterisk, I knew something was off when Brad kept pushing it. But I came anyway. Because, maybe I needed this. Not the prank. But the reminder that life keeps moving. That connection is still possible, asterisk. He switched to speaking. You didn't know about Lisa. That's on me, I never told anyone here. But what you did, it wasn't kind. Pranks like that assume the other person is there for your amusement. Elena isn't a punchline. Neither am I. Tears slipped down Sarah's cheeks. We were wrong. Completely. We owe you both an apology. And her. Mark nodded. Apologize to her. Not me. And maybe, think before the next fun idea. He walked past them, back to his desk. The office was quiet for the rest of the day. The turning point. The next Monday, Elena received flowers at her new job, sunflowers, with a card from the entire sales team. It read, asterisk, we were cruel and thoughtless. We set up Mark thinking it would embarrass him. Instead, he showed us what real strength looks like. Thank you for being part of the moment that taught us empathy. We're sorry. If there's ever anything we can do to make it right, please tell us, asterisk. Elena showed the card to Mark on their second coffee date. They laughed about it, softly, kindly. Over the following months, things changed at Technova. Brad started a voluntary ASL Basics Lunch and Learn. Sarah pushed for better accessibility training. Mark opened up more, shared stories of Lisa when it felt right. And he and Elena? They kept meeting. Coffee turned to dinners, dinners to weekends. Hands signing late into the night. One evening, 6 months later, the office threw an impromptu party for Mark's birthday. Elena was there, signing jokes that made everyone laugh. Brad raised a glass. To Mark, he said, voice thick. For teaching us that sometimes the best pranks are the ones life pulls on us. And for showing us how to be better people. Mark signed back to Elena, "Thank you for saying yes to that first coffee." She signed, tears shining, "Thank you for speaking my language when no one else did." The room went quiet again, not from shock this time, but from something deeper. Respect. Regret turned to growth. A prank that backfired into something beautiful. And in the corner, unnoticed, Mark slipped his wedding band chain off and placed it gently in his pocket. Not forgotten, just ready to make space for new signs, new stories, new love.